Okay, scale of the day. I've got my Jimi Hendrix t-shirt on. I've got my Hello California, are you ready to rock? Fender hat on. And I'm playing my alligator blue textured Dan Electro. Okay, fun stuff. I like to throw some stuff like that in on these scale lessons because scales aren't the most exciting thing, but they are really important to learning the notes on your neck and the finger patterns that really appear in real songs, and and ultimately being able to improvise and play really cool stuff on your own. So, let's learn them. All right. So let's get down to this. We're going to jump right in. I'm not going to do the review and all that stuff on the front end. I am going to do some probably on the end of the video. But let's just jump right to this. We're going to cover the C major scale in the D form, which is pattern 2. Okay? So we're going to write to those notes. Yesterday we were in the E form, and that had roots at the 8th and the 10th frets. And now we're going to go to the next pattern and call that pattern 2. Okay? So the D form, or pattern 2, has roots on the 4th and 2nd strings, 3 frets apart. Okay, 3 frets apart. We're going to build our scale around that. That's the inside 1 octave of the C major scale. Now you might notice my hand shifted position a little bit. You can play this with what they call extensions, which is where you just move your finger back. This is an extension with your index finger to move back a fret. And this is an extension moving up, or if I was in this position, up. Okay? But really, most people just play it as a shift, a 1 fret shift back and forth of your hand. Okay, so I'm going to put the pattern up to start, not with the notes or anything, just the pattern. And I just want you to look at where the symmetries are in this pattern and kind of get an idea of it in your head and be able to visualize it. So if we look at the top 2 strings, the form, and your fingers would be sitting between the 10th and 13th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? The fingering is 1, 3, 4, and 1, 3, 4. Symmetrical, right? Same thing on both strings. As you go down to the next 2 strings, you're going to shift back 1 fret. So you're going to be from 9 to 12. And you're going to be a 1, 2, 4. Those are the notes. And those 2 are symmetrical with each other. Okay? Now, when you get to the 5th string, you're shifting back to the other position, right? You're at 10, 11, 12, 13. There's only 2 notes on this string. It's 1 and 3. Fingering 1 and 3. But other than not having that additional 4th note, right? Or 3rd note, it is, you've got basically the same symmetry as the pattern below it, so you're 1, 3, 4. Okay, so let's do this from the low E string up to the high string and just play it. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, shift. Okay, I'm just going to stop there to make sure you got that shift. Okay, then you're going to be at the 9th fret, so it's 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, stop. Shift. Okay, now you're going to be at the 10th fret, and you're going to go 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Okay, that's the pattern. But the scale, you'll notice, that didn't sound like a C major scale, was because it didn't start on the C down here, right? The roots are at the 10th and the 13th. All right, now put up the notes so we can see the notes. That's your C. So the C scale, a 1-octave rendition of that scale, runs from this root, C, D, E, F, G, shift, A, B, C. Okay? And the other notes are the continuation. So above the C, G, E, F. Okay, and when you're down here, you got almost a whole scale below it. You got C, B, A, G, F, E, G. You would only need one more note, the C, to complete that octave. Okay? But it doesn't go that way because, it just doesn't. We're breaking the fretboard. Your scale exists on the whole fretboard, but these patterns exist to break that whole big pattern up into something manageable that you can visualize and internalize and sit in one position and play without moving around a lot. Okay. So, all right. So those are the notes, and you could also look at it as scale degrees. So if we start on that C, and remember our pattern that we've kind of used to play these, right? We've kind of gone play the note and go down and back up to the root, and then repeat the root and then go up to the full octave scale, and then play the root and go up through whatever ancillary extensions are on there, and then back down to the root. Okay, so that's kind of our pattern. So let's do that and say the scale degrees now, not the fingering. These numbers are the scale degrees, right? So we're going to start on the C and go 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You'll notice I actually, when I play this, I don't shift on the 5th string. I play it like that and then shift. All right, so that's it. So that's the scale pattern. It's pretty symmetrical, but it is 5 frets wide instead of 4, so you do have some shifting in there or some extension. Now, if you really wanted to, like I said, you can play this as a... Could do it like that or like that. Some people think of that more as an extension, like you're just moving your index finger back to catch those 2 notes up there. I think of it as a shift. Okay, let's do some practice. That's too fast for starting out. Let's do 66. It's a good pace that you can kind of feel the tempo. It's not so slow that you lose the groove, though it's close. And we're going to practice this scale just a couple of times, okay? Together. We're going to say the notes, sing the notes. 1, 2, quarter notes, go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Sorry, I didn't tell you what I was thinking there. All right, let's do it in the form that we talked about going down. 1, so we'll go down and back up to the root, root to root, root up, back down. Okay. 1, 2, ready, go. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, D, That's too high for me. I'm a bass. F, E, D, C, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, C, B, A, G, F, E, D. Okay? Now let's just go between the C's. Okay. Let's do that a little faster. And this time, I'm just going to play straight up and down the pattern. I'm not going to worry about the roots as much, okay? How'd you do with that? Were you able to keep up? That was eighth notes, not quarter notes. That was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's try triplets. How do you count those? 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, dot 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 dot. Ready? 2, ready, just the whole pattern. How'd you do? Did you get it? Let's try it again. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, ready triplet, go triplet. Okay, where are the roots? Still remember that? You want to visualize those and see where that octave is within this scale. Okay, do we want to do 16th notes? 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a da 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 da. I bet you can do it. Let's try it. 1 E and a 2 E and a ready and a go E and a. Okay, if that's too fast, let's slow it back down and do some of that subdividing the beat. This is 66 again. I'll even go a little slower and go. Let's just do 60. 60 beats a minute. All right. So let's practice this a couple ways here. All right. So let's do quarter notes and say the notes. And we're going to start on the roots again and go down, back to the root, root to root, root up, back down to the root. Okay. 1, 2, ready, go. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, D, E, F. Kind of got off the beat there, didn't I? Sometimes when it's this slow, it's hard to stay on the beat. And I'm trying to... It's a lot for your brain actually to process this, okay? You're trying to sing it. You're trying to think about the notes. You're trying to get them out your fingers, play it cleanly. And you're trying to line up with the beat of the metronome. There's a lot going on for your brain to process if this is new to you. So if it's not that easy, break it down into smaller pieces, okay? You don't have to try to do all those things at once initially, but as soon as you can, you want to practice it that way. Right? If you have to sit there and just work the pattern for a while, do that. Now these are eighth notes, but if that's too fast, The other thing you can do is if you're having trouble getting these patterns in your brain, take them in pieces and practice pieces. Do 2 strings at a time. Go like this. Go, well, let's just start down here at the 10th fret and go. Okay, you got that part? Now let's take the 5th and 4th string. Okay, let's take the 4th and 3rd string. Take the 3rd and 2nd string. Shift. Okay, let's take the 5th and 6th string. Okay, let's just focus between the 2 roots. Can do some of that. Okay, now let's just take the whole pattern again and subdivide the beats. I'm going to speed it up just a little. Let's do 69 beats a minute. 1, and let's do quarters. 1, 2, ready, go. Now let's do 8th notes. 1 and 2 and ready, go. And now I want to talk about, as you're playing these, and there's a lot if you're a beginner, but if you're more advanced, this will start to become something you pay much more attention to as these patterns get under your fingertips. You want to try to not have a lot of other string noise when you play a note. You just want that note. You don't want, which partly comes from not over picking, right? But you also get your hand scraping strings or something. You'll learn to mute the other strings with the heel, the back edge of your hand, along the, I don't know if you can see, along the bridge, right at the saddles, right where the string's going through the saddle. If you put your palm right there, you can get different tones. That's open, my hand's back that way. So I move it up, I start to get palm muted tones, which also, if you get some other string noise, it'll mute, right? So if you bump a string up here with your left hand, a finger, it doesn't ring out like it does if there's nothing on it. Okay? So as you're playing these, you want clean playing. But you don't want muted playing like that, okay? So it takes a while to get the hang of it, and every time I switch guitars, it's a little different because these bridges feel different under your hands, right? You begin to develop a feel for them as you go. When playing this slow, it can be hard, but that was pretty clean. So you want to pay attention to that is all I'm saying. I just wanted to kind of point that out. All right, so let's go back to our beat. We're at 69. We did 8. Let's do triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Dot 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 dot. 1, 2, ready, go. Let's do 16th notes now. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a go and okay. That's kind of how you want to practice this stuff is you want to practice some different tempos, you want to practice different counting, you want to try to pay attention to string noise, but when you're starting, you just got to get it under your fingertips, and that might take it might take you 3 days of spending 15 minutes or something just sitting here at some relatively slow tempo like your 72 going. Okay, now, I can't make this next point with enough emphasis. When you're doing this, practice it correctly. Don't practice mistakes. If you're making mistakes, you're going too fast. Slow down. It's an old adage of guitar play. If you want to play fast, slow down. Okay? Which is counterintuitive, right? But there's some truth to this. Your brain is trying to process this information and store it, and you're just getting ahead of what it can do, especially when you're a beginner and this is so new. So, slow down, okay? Play it correctly, even if that means you work on it one string at a time, going. Even if it means initially you're not working against the metronome or with the metronome, trying to stay in time, until you get this pattern going under your fingers and can see it and visualize it in your brain. Until you can kind of visualize it on the fretboard. Sit there and play it nice and slow, but play it correctly. You don't want the wrong notes because they start getting wired into your brain right off the bat, and then it takes more effort to unlearn them. Okay, so play it correctly, even if you have to go really slow. Okay, that's it. That's what I'm going to do today, other than we are going to still go back and review some of the other stuff that we did now, and I'm only going to spend a few minutes. I promised I was going to try to make these videos shorter. I think it's not going to happen, but by putting the review at the end, you could skip over that if you wanted to. And I don't recommend that because the repetition from day to day is really, really important. You may think you have this, but if you wait 3 days and you haven't come back to it, you won't have it in a couple days, even maybe the next day if you don't go back and review it. So that repetition is important, okay? I'm probably, as we get to the end of the 5 forms, going to put a practice module together that's just the open scale and the 5 forms played, back to back with not talking. Okay, so the videos are shorter and you can practice with those. But I'm trying to get some concepts about how to practice and some ideas like that going here too. All right, so let's do the open C scale. Do you remember it? And we will work with a metronome. The metronome is your friend even if you find it annoying. Basically, if you're a human being, you need time working with your metronome to improve your timing. That goes for professionals. It goes for amateurs, okay? If you're a human being, you need time working on your timing with a metronome. That's the rule. It really is true. Okay, everybody needs to work with a metronome on a regular basis. Okay. Yeah, even Joe Satriani. Even Eddie Van Halen, although he's not doing any metronome work now. All right, starting on C. Open C scale. 1, 2, ready, go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, D, A, G, F, E, D, C. Okay. Let's do the C scale E form that we did yesterday. 8th fret root, 10th fret root, 8th fret root. Oh, do you remember this one? And on this one, we're going to start on the root, go down and up. Okay. 1, 2, ready, go. C, B, C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, D, C, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, C, B, A. I mean C. Yeah. Okay. Do you remember the single string scales? Let's find our roots that way. So we're on the 8th fret C. A little bit awkward on this guitar for some reason. Let's try that one more time and say the notes. 1, 2, ready, go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, remember where they are on the 5th string? 3rd fret, right? Same root we used in the open scale. Same root, 3rd string C on the 5th string. 3rd fret, 5th string. 1, 2, ready, go. Again, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Been doing this for a few days. Are you starting to visualize these notes and see the note names as you go up? You should be. Should be starting to see them a little more clearly. All right, on the 4th string, which is the D string, where's the C? Well, it's not down here because it starts on D. It's right there. 10th fret, remember? It's also the one we used with our D form scale we learned today. So you should start knowing that that's a C. C at the 10th fret. Okay, single string scale. 1, 2, ready, go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. What happened there? What happened there? How come I don't have the rest? 12, 15, 17, 19, 21. This guitar only has 21 frets. You don't have that last note on this guitar that I showed you on the other ones that had 22 frets, okay? So you actually don't have a complete C major scale on this string of this guitar. You would have to either get the bottom note on a different string, or you would have to get the high note. We're just going to leave you hanging there, okay? So, how many frets you have on here depends how far up you can go. All right. Fun little lesson there, right? Okay, let's go to the third string. Where is the C on the third string? Do you know? So let me ask you this. Where was it on the fifth string? We just covered that. It was here. There's an octave pattern. If you can't quite figure that out, you can always think back, where's the octave? It's 2 frets apart. We're going to play that single string scale. 2, ready, go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Where is it on the second string? The B string. The C is right after the B. It's at the first fret, and it's at the 13th fret right after the octave. 1, 2, ready, go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, let's keep going. High E string, where's the C? It's at 8, because we know that it is. Okay? 8. That's a C. Just like this is a C on this E string. 8th fret C. Okay. We're going to play this. 1, 2, ready, go. Let's go back to the original scale we were learning today, okay? Remember where our roots are? So this is the C major scale in the D form. D root pattern. Pattern 2, we call that. Has roots on the 4th and 2nd string, 3 frets apart. 4th string, 2nd string, 1, 2, 3 frets apart. Okay? Alright, let's play this from root to root. 1, 2, quarter notes, go. C, D, E, F, G, shift, A, B, C, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Let's go down. C, B, A, G, F, E, D. Go up. D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I missed the B. Let's do this from C to C. From C to shining C. 1, 8th notes. 1, 1 and 2 and ready, go. Let's go down. Let's practice this one more time. 8th notes. 1, and we're going to start on the root. We're going to go down, back up to the root. We're going to hold it. Then we're going to go from root to root. And we're going to hold it. Then we're going to go root up and right back down. Land on the root and hold it. Okay. 1 and 2 and ready, go. And pattern now. Just up and down the pattern. One and two and ready, go. I missed a note. How'd you do? All right, that's it. C major scale, D form, pattern 2. You're a scale master. Soon you'll be a scale master. All right, that's it. The scale of the day.